The PS1 is no stranger to experimental games. Its cheap cost and large disk space meant developers were able to flex their creative muscles. This resulted in a number of risky and unique games during its life. Unfortunately, many were so unique that they weren't brought to Western markets for fear of not selling. A real shame too. The PS1 is full of artistic and unique experiences that would never be made today. I'll be taking a look at one such game. Hey there, this is Megablade J, and this is my review of Iblard, the City of the Hatching Laputa. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, I have no idea if I'm saying these names right. Iblard is a first-person adventure game for the PS1. It was made by Japanese developer System Seicom and published by TV Asahi on October of 1997. Nowadays, Satcom mostly sells electronics, but back in the day, they made games for a number of systems. Some of their works include Highway Star for the PC 9801, Smart Ball on the Super Nintendo, and Deep Fear for the Sega Saturn. In Iblard, you play as a young man who, well, sucks at gardening.
Everything I touch dies!
As everything he touches dies, he looks at a story his grandpa read to him as a child. The story is about a fantastical, surreal world of Iblard. It's a land of magic, where floating islands called Laputa exist. According to the story, they have the power to make plants grow. One day, while our plant murderer is strolling about town, he notices a pretty lady, a giant mole, and a talking frog. Honestly, that's a pretty typical day in Japan if anime is to be believed. What makes this event unique is that they're the characters from said story. Hoping to get his hands on a piece of Laputa to save his plants, like a dumbass, he follows them and gets transported to the land of Iblard. Now his only hope of getting home is finding a legendary egg and hatching a Laputa. Yes, that's right, you heard me right. The floating islands come from eggs. Just bear with me here. And so begins our hero's journey to the beautiful and mysterious land of Iblard. Honestly, I felt the story was the weakest part of the game. At the beginning and ending of each stage, you get a little bit of plot. It's not bad, and it does its job of getting us from point A to B, but how do I explain this? The world just felt empty, and I wanted to learn more about it. I think the main reason for this is there's barely any NPCs to talk with. And yes, this may have been a budget title, but it's just a real shame. This is a beautiful, odd world, and I wanted to talk to people, to hear about their daily lives, and learn more about how this world works. Now, as you explore each stage, you can find the original art pieces that inspired this location. They do help as they give hints and an explanation of the area, but I still feel that having a few people to talk to would really help to flesh out the world and make it feel like a real living place. And honestly, I just feel the entire adventure could have been avoided if the MC just bought some fertilizer. The gameplay fares much better. Iblard is an adventure game and plays similar to Myst. You move around the environment in first person, solving simple puzzles, engaging in light combat, and collecting items needed to open doors. It's a pretty simple and straightforward game, and I was able to figure out all the puzzles after some trial and error. Early on, you find a boomerang that acts as your main form of attack. It's fine when you're fighting slower baddies, but faster, harder to hit foes like bats quickly become a pain in the butt. Fortunately, combat is pretty rare, so you'll mainly be using it to solve environmental puzzles. While the gameplay may be simple, exploring their environments was a real highlight. One level, you're in a pink forest feeding tiny raptors watermelons. Next, you're using air currents to travel around floating islands. Another, you're solving puzzles in a eerily desolate, yet beautiful market. It was exciting getting to a new area and exploring the surreal environment. The music is mostly made of slow, atmospheric tracks. They sound mystical and otherworldly at times, and are a perfect fit for the game. This game was based on the work of Japanese artist, and I'm not going to attempt to mess up his name here. He's a professor and a fantasy artist, whose work tends to be on the surreal side. He created the world of Iblard through his beautiful watercolor paintings. He's also done some work with Studio Ghibli on the film Whisper of the Heart, and also directed an OVA set in his world called Iblard Jikan. Though it seems it was made on a budget, this game does a great job of bringing his world to life. The graphics are bright and colorful, each area feels visually unique, and it's just plain fun to explore and see what fantastical things will pop up next. Though dated, the blocky polygons add even more of a surreal charm to the land. On the other hand, this is one of the games where I wish I had enough money to pay someone to remake it with modern tech. I mean, God, could you imagine this colorful and unique world brought to life with PS5 graphics? Whew. One day. Now, while pretty to look at, it does have some issues. The game is very short, with me beating it in under 4 hours. Though I will admit, any longer and I feel the strangeness would lose its flair. Better ends on a high note than drag on too long. The map doesn't show your current location, so it can be a little difficult to navigate in a new area. Once you figure out the landmarks, it's not that bad, but can be annoying in the larger, more complex areas. Yes, I should address the literal elephant in the room. There is one enemy in the game that pops up in certain areas each chapter. If you get too close, the screen starts freaking out and flashing like crazy. The only way to get rid of them is to find a broom and shoot them away, which of course brings you in range of the freakout. I can only assume this game was made before epilepsy was a major concern. Now, there's usually only 1 or 2 per chapter, but they tend to act as gatekeepers, so you can't really avoid the encounters. If you have any problems with flashing lights, you may want to not play this game. The game was only released in Japan, but there is an English translation online. A big thank you to Esper Knight, Blame, and the rest of their team for letting us in the West experience this trippy game. If you want to own it physically, the price is starting to go up and can be bought for around $60 to $100 online. Overall, I really enjoyed Iblard, the City of the Hatching Laputa. It had a colorful, unique world to explore, and was a simple yet fun first-person adventure. Though the game was short, it was a surreal experience I won't soon forget. If you enjoy more experimental games, or just want to try something different, I'd give this game a try. Thanks for watching. This has been Megablade J. If you enjoyed the review, please leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for more playthroughs, reviews, and more of my poor attempts to entertain you all. See y'all next mission. Bye.